Howdy, howdy. In this video, I am going to bring you the Denver Gazette, put this out, former CBI forensic scientist. Yeah, jail. Jail. Wait till you hear this. Now, Idaho, you listen up. Listen up, Idaho, because this is important. Listen up, people that don't believe that this testing is okay with what they did with it, because this is going to show you quite the opposite of what you're thinking. There's got to be a chain of custody. There's got to be documentation how it got there. Otherwise, we're just taking someone's word for it. Someone's word for it. That is it. Good evening. Good morning, actually. What time is it? I've been on a deep dive. It's 3:44 in the morning. And I'm not done yet. Because I've just come across several things that I need to bring to your attention. This is a huge one. This former scientist, this former forensics, DNA, woman, whatever, no scientist, she's doing this kind of crap. So this is for you, Moscow. This is for you, three-letter word people. Like agencies. That's a good word, yeah. The three-letter agencies. This is for you. You need to take note of this. Because this can't be happening. And to people out there, the guilters and stuff, I feel like that Brian's innocent. I'm not saying he is because I don't know. I have to wait and see if they show evidence. But I'm telling you, at this point, with the things that they've lied about, everything they've lied about, how can we even trust anything they say anymore? And then I come across this thing. I'm going, what the heck? I get the hiccups. So get this. So this is to the people out there that are okay with how they treated Brian's DNA, his IgG stuff. I don't know how that breaks down, how that works. I'm going to sound stupid talking about it, but I want to get this out because here's the thing I do know is that this is how this works. Okay, so you've got this case right here, right? You got this scientist woman. She's got the prosecution saying, here's this person's DNA, a sample of the DNA, and then hands another one, and we found this one so and so somewhere else, right? They got to find how to get those connected together. Now there's no chain of command. They don't have to how it goes. Like, okay, say like new math. Kids in school, they have the new math problems, right? Where they have to write it all down, and the teacher's got to see how they got to that answer. Well, this is the same thing, but it's even more touchy. It's even more personal. It's even more detrimental that it needs to be, seen how it got to from the beginning to the end, and everything in between. Because all it takes is this one person to take this DNA sample and twist it to where it's actually something it's not, and then this is an expert that's testifying against you, yet you have no idea how they got there and why it's like this, because you're innocent, right? So how did they get here? Can you imagine being that person, knowing that's not mine? I wasn't there. I've never been there. I don't even know this person. Yet they're saying it's true. And they're the professional, right? So you got to trust the professionals. I mean, she's been doing this job for 20-something years. 20-something years, over 1,000 cases, possibly botched. It's costing Colorado it's millions of dollars to test all these things because people are they're outraged. Can you imagine how many people could possibly be? I'm sure a lot of them are innocent that are in jail. Quick, get it done. Get them in jail. Find somebody that looks guilty. Toss them in there, and this is done. Sound familiar? This is so messed up. And they let her get away with it. Like they knew. Like this is 20-something years. I don't know, man. I'm telling you. How does this happen? One day you're walking down the sidewalk, kicking a stone around, eating an ice cream cone, walking your dog. The next thing you know, you're in jail. Because you obviously were somewhere else because this professional said you were. And they found your DNA over there. Oh, shit. That's on the other side of town. That's a big old town. I was walking my dog, eating ice cream cone, kicking stones. Oh, no, you weren't. You were over here. This proves you were over there. Just like this proves that you did this to these students because we found touch DNA on the inside of a snap on a sheath. All right, well, where's the weapon? Nobody knows if that's the weapon that was used. There's speculation there. That's speculation on their part. They've got no weapon. He didn't do it with the sheath. It's not going to do the damage like that. So that can't be the weapon. But if that's all they've got, and all they have is this touch DNA on it, that could have come from anywhere. Anywhere, you guys. I mean, it's just, it blows my mind that people are okay with this. That they're like, throwing him just out there for the wolves to chow down because it's like, they've got so much evidence. No, they don't. What evidence? The car's been debunked. The stalking's been debunked. The picture's been debunked. The ID's been debunked. Tower ping's debunked. They set the narrative and they made the tide go the way they wanted it to brainwash people, to get them to believe these things and then make him out to be this monster when none of the things that they're saying are ended up being true, being admitted they aren't true by the prosecution in the courtroom. It is, to tell you the truth, all you have to do is look at their faces. And it's written all over their faces. God, Bill was red as, man, was he red. God, this last one, whoa. Man, I've never seen him that red before. I thought he was gonna literally, those like cartoons where their top of their heads blow off and there's like this steam coming out of their head and then coming out of their ears and then they got the train whistle, steam engine going off. That's what I kept picturing Bill doing that, like the little engine that couldn't, the little train that couldn't, because man, he was red. Dang, that almost was scary watching him. And not almost scary, it was scary. And then that Ashley, holy Moses, that woman has got some evil looks. She looks like when she's looking like that and she's doing her thing, like her little bullying thing, well, still 7 minutes. Well, what's 7 minutes? Oh my gosh. I wanted to just, don't get me started on her, but I'm going to finish. But she gets that little uppity thing on her hip. She moves her body like I'm this and I'm all that. Basically, she just, I don't know, man. She thinks she's all that and then some. And maybe she is with certain things. Maybe she is. But with this thing, she's not. I don't know how she can make anybody believe by just the way she was talking. She was so flippant in everything she did. And by flippant, I mean she just was so nonchalant. What's 7 minutes? Well, what makes the car turning this way or turning that way? It's good. Well, cars can do that. It's going to eventually turn around. I mean, I was like, what are you talking about, woman? And I'm thinking, there's people out there that are believing this chick. And that's even scarier. Her saying that, but people believing it? Whoa, that is scary. So then you've got Bill over here, hush, hush, and he shouldn't be holding his mouth because the steam's coming out. He needs it to come out every cavity. He should not have been holding his mouth, his hand over his mouth. Man, I was like, oh my God. And you got Payne back there twiddling his thumbs and looking at his watch. Looked like he was like, it was forever he was looking at his watch, and all I could see in my mind's eye was, is that a 1, 2, 3? That's 3, 4, 6. 5, 6. Like he's counting time, right? All the little hands. That's all I could see when I was watching him sitting there doing that. I'm like, oh my gosh, he probably doesn't even know cursive handwriting. Jeez. I'm like, oh my goodness. I see Tommy no, not Tommy. I see Brent, and I see Billy, and I see Ashley. Like Romper Room. It's like, wow, you guys, you didn't even get through just that particular one, that hearing, man, that one. Oh, I'm telling you, I was so mad. I was so mad. But it was so good to see Ann kicking some butt. And then the judge, every once in a while you can see he'd give a little smile. But here's the thing. The only reason I think this judge is seeing this type of thing is like having to really, really look at this and be fair for the most part. There's some things that still he's not quite doing. He's like leaning towards the prosecution, and he shouldn't be doing that because this is a trial of all trials with the IGG, with all this stuff, and the fact that if the people get savvy and really listen to these hearings and the body language, the verbiage, everything, the reactions of prosecution alone should tell them something. Then this is going to be flipping. People are going to start going towards, the truth. And not what they were brainwashed in the beginning to believe. Seeing that firsthand, like in real time like that, I've never seen that before. I know it happens, but I never realized it was to that extent, that was so much corruption, that everybody's involved in it. Like it's just the way it is. That's how it feels like with there too. They're so used to it that it's just the way it is. This is the way it works. It's always been like this, and it always will be like this. We going to win, 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 no matter what. And that is such that mentality is just frightening. It's frightening. Because people that think like that, they don't give a rat's ass about anybody. If someone can do that to another human being knowing they're innocent, even if they're finding out as they go down, as time goes on, that maybe they were wrong about some things, but they're not. But see here, they're not admitting to it because they can't. That this is who they are, right? They're not going to walk off with the tail between their legs. No way. No way. They're going to have that backbone with that hair up in that inch of hair coming down the backbone, all standing up, and they've got this low growl on them. That's what they're going to be walking away with high five and doing that, because that's who they are. And it's just, they're breeding this there. They're breeding this. It's just this mentality of, God, I don't even know what to call it. It's just brutal. But I'm going to play this part right here. This is in Denver, this former CBI scientist caused a ripple effect for Showa. She in big trouble. And guess what? Another thing that sounds very, very familiar with this, she retired right before the case opened, right before all of it started. There's several things in here that are so... It's like they're mirroring the Idaho4. It seriously is. It's like, wow. All right, here we go.
Justice tonight, 40 years after a Lone Tree man's murder in Colorado. Today, a judge sentenced Michael Jefferson to 32 years behind bars for the death of Roger Dean. Dean was killed in 1985. Jefferson wasn't arrested until 2021 after investigators connected him to the crime through DNA evidence.
And 32 years is a much lighter sentence than we typically see for first-degree murder convictions, and it's because of misconduct by CBI forensic scientists in this case. Yvonne Missy Woods, accused of mishandling DNA in more than 1,000 cases, including this one. Woods worked for CBI for nearly 30 years until November 2023.
Tonight, Denver 7 investigates, looking into the toll this investigation into Woods is taking on the entire state of Colorado.
Investigative reporter Natalie Chuck in the studio, and you spoke with lawmakers who call this whole thing unacceptable.
Yeah, and as unacceptable as they might feel this is, everyone we've spoken with does agree that this is something that has to be addressed. An investigation this size, it sucks up resources, it is expensive, and it is back in the headlines as lawmakers continue pushing to find more efficient ways to fix the problems left behind.
We have to give people access to justice.
It's access that Senator Judy Amabile feels some victims and some accused are being denied all across Colorado. All of it boiling down to one person in question, a former Colorado Bureau of Investigation scientist, Yvonne Missy Woods.
It's just incredible that this was allowed to go on for so long, that there's at least 1,000 tests that are potentially bad. That just is really unacceptable.
A quick recap of how we got.
I have to stop this for a second. If there's 1,000 tests that are potentially bad, there's way more than that. Because if this is the case, this woman is lazy or just greedy as I'll get up if she's getting paid good money for, tainting these things, swaying the jury one way or the other. But if there's that many, there's more. Because, she's gotten comfortable with it, right? She's gotten better at it. And that is, that's just the devil in you, man, coming out. That's the devil sitting on her shoulder, whispering in her ear. Because, like I said, it just gets easier for her. She's not, there's no just like no reprimand. She's not being reprimanded by it. They knew certain things were happening. Yet nothing was, they just, under the rug. Where have you heard that before? Under the rug. Slap the little wrist. Fist bump. Yeah.
Here. Over a 29-year career, Woods handled DNA in more than 10,000 cases, including high-profile ones, like a Boulder cold case and the sexual assault case against Kobe Bryant. But in September of 2023, anomalies were found in DNA data. That October, CBI opened an internal affairs investigation. Woods placed on administrative leave. She abruptly retired about 1 month later, just as the allegations were made public. In June 2024, CBI released its findings. In those findings, claims the scientist omitted facts in criminal justice records, tampered with DNA testing results, and violated laboratory policies.
Based on our former scientist and her misgivings, we are experiencing a backlog. This is a driving factor for that.
That's the voice of CBI Director Chris Schaefer. Fast forward to now, CBI has been given about $7.4 million from the state to deal with the fallout of DNA mishandling. So far, the agency has spent more than $67,000 of it on DNA retesting and on district attorneys' offices reviewing convictions.
And you guys, get this. That's just to go back and retest those things. That's not the lawsuits that are going to come out of this. These people that have been incarcerated that are innocent. This is just to retest these things. That is incredible. That's so, you think about this kind of thing, and with the amount of money it's costing to do this, and what's the repercussions she's going to get? What's going to happen to her? Find out that, what about these people's lives that they spent incarcerated when they were innocent? For every person that she did this to, that spent the time that they spent in there, it should be doubled. She should get double the time of what the time that they spent. I mean, I would say triple, but she you know, I mean, she's just going to be so many of them, but literally she needs, this is, she'll never know what these people, well, she'll never know it anyway because she's guilty and they weren't, right? So there's that. You can take that out of the mix. But she'll never know what it's like behind those bars, what they had to deal with that whole time. But even worse because they were innocent. She's guilty. She might not think she is. Here's the people that are like this. They're you know, they're never gonna like probably admit to the fact of what they've done. It's always going to be, you know, blaming on this or blaming on that. Or, you know, well, they forced me to do it or the prosecutor, whatever. No. This is, you're a scientist. We're supposed to be able to believe in scientists. That's one of the things that we can't believe in because it's science, right? Just like the kid doing the math problem, working it out on the paper. You watched it with your own eyes. You did it. You worked it out. And in the end, it's the right answer. She didn't do that. She didn't do that.
Colorado grapples with an estimated $750 million budget deficit.
It feels like an epic fail that we're now having to spend this money to correct that. But indeed, that is what we have to do.
Because it wasn't just DNA tests that were impacted.
Now we have this giant backlog in 3 different areas, getting the tests that have been determined to be potentially bad retested, the backlog that retesting has created for the DNA testing, and then the rape kit testing.
One victim caught in the crossfire, waiting more than 400 days for rape kit results and still waiting.
How can we expect people to report crimes like this when the process is so brutal for their survivor? We've already been through so much.
Right there. Huge, you guys. So big. Because no matter what, with them not doing this the right way, no matter what it looks like, it's going to be bad. Because it's going to be, well, look at, I mean, if this woman is doing what she's doing and she's blaming it on somebody else and getting them convicted, where's the real person that did this, you know? So they're still out there possibly doing this. And then maybe that comes across her desk again and she convicts another wrong person. And maybe this happens 5 different times. And there's still that one person that she has not truthfully found this DNA for that's out there doing this over and over and over again because he's getting away with it. How easy is that for them? And then you've got this victim who, and now this would be really difficult because I don't know if like the person they face in court is, you know, how do you say that's the person it is when you know darn well that's not the person it is? What do you do in a case like that? I mean, that's got to be, I mean, very confusing for the victim for sure. And more than likely being, you know, pushed a little to convict this person. No, you sure this is the right person? This is the one that DNA, you might have been seeing things. Maybe you weren't, you know, this is I mean, that's a difficult thing to go through. You probably weren't in all, you know, all your mind probably wasn't there. I mean, you know, type things. You probably blocked it out, you know, anything. And so got this victim who's confused. And now when this person, they find out this person is innocent and has been in jail all the time, what is this person going to go through, this victim? It's going to be all over that blame game. I'm like, oh my God, I knew that wasn't the right person. And I mean, what in the heck? Now you got all these people messed up. Kitty. When you could have just done it right in the first place. Wow, this is a lot. This is a lot. And this is exactly why this needs to be under a microscope, what's going on with Brian and how they went about the testing that they did or didn't do or whatever they did. Because we don't know, because there's no chain of command. They're not showing a diagram. They're not showing that math problem and the guts. They'll tell you what the start is and what the end is, but you don't get to see what's in between. So that just means that literally anybody could do anything to that sample and it doesn't matter because we just have to believe you. We just have to believe you. Is that it? So now we just have to believe all police officers are good because that's what they're supposed to be. Well, that's not what we're seeing. I'll never believe that again. I'm very tainted after this case. I mean, not to the point where I'm not going to, all cops are bad. I don't believe that, but darn straight, I'm seeing some crap going down over there, and no one's going to tell me that's not what I'm seeing, because not only am I seeing it, I'm feeling it, I'm hearing it. It's right there in your face, my face, and so this trust issue. This is a trust issue from the people we're supposed to trust. Wow. And guess what now, you guys? Not only are these guys, these professionals that have gone to school for this, but now the AIs that are identifying through visual and through other things, that however they're finding these people and convicting them, that they're wrong. They're wrong. And the AI are convicting the wrong people. I mean, who do the AI learn from? Us. They learn from us. Every time someone does one of those Facebook quizzes, they're learning. They're learning emotions, right? And I bet you damn straight they're learning some serious stuff from this case. I mean, this is probably twisting them all out and then some because of just what's going on in this case. Because it doesn't make sense. And so that's what they're to learn. They're to learn, that the sense in something, like learning, how it works. But now they're learning all sorts of stuff, right, you guys? And not all of it's going to be good. And it's just going to be, there's nothing going to be different. They're not going to be any different than a human when it comes down to it, when it comes to emotionals and like getting what they want, by lying or whatever. Or it's for people to think that AIs are going to be our good thing. I mean, for certain things, yeah, if you're only going to use it for good, but we know that's not the case, right? There's always that person that's going to use something for bad. There's always going to be that person, and that's always going to get bigger and bigger and bigger because they get whatever they get recognition, they get paid good for it, they did whatever they get, people are going to start running for that. More people. I mean, not all people, but when there's benefits to something like that and the person's greedy, sure, they're going to take they're going to take it and run with it. So with this, it's just, that's probably, I mean, who knows what she was thinking? I don't even want to speculate on that because she's probably thinking a lot right now. I'll tell you what, that lady's her brain's probably going 90 miles an hour or not. If she's a narcissist, here's a surefire way you can tell a narcissist that when a narcissist is tired, or it's bedtime, or some of them even have a set schedule, they will go do the routine, go to bed, lay down, and within 30 seconds or less, they're asleep. Sound asleep. Why? Because they don't have to worry about anything. They don't worry about it. They'll just figure out a way to get around it or whatever. It's not them. They didn't do anything. They don't have any worries in the world. That's a scary thing to know that. When you recognize that, it's a scary thing because that's a person that doesn't worry about anything. And people worry about things. People don't just go to sleep, go lay down and their head hits the pillow and they're asleep. That's really weird. I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, I've been tired. I mean, I'll sit up and just be jabbering and I'll fall asleep, but that's different. I work myself to the bone, right? My brain's just like, So, yeah. Okay, I'm going to keep going here. Just keep blah, 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 blah. Because I've got so many things there's so many videos out. There's so many things out right now. Oh my gosh.
A spokesperson for CBI acknowledged an average turnaround time of more than 500 days is too long. The agency is hiring additional DNA scientists and devoting resources.
Did you hear that? 500 days? How fast did they get their DNA, their testing back? That's, what? You guys. Whoa. No. All right. People, wake up, please. If not for him, do it for you, because if this goes through and you're on vacation in freaking Australia, back home something's going on, your DNA is going to be there if they've got reason to believe or want to make you the perp. Just remember that, because this is the way it's going to go if that's the case. And it already shows right here what this woman did.
With the goal of getting that turnaround time down to 90 days.
One way or another, we have to make sure that we correct for the problem that we allowed to happen.
You heard it right there. CBI is dedicating more resources to this backlog. For some context, the agency told me last year, 50% of all lab work was devoted to reviewing Wood's cases. Now that the review is over, 100% can be dedicated to regular casework. CBI currently has 16 DNA scientists and is in the process of training 15 more, but that training can take up to 2 years. And district attorneys expect to see more and more cases come up in court that were impacted by Woods. Plus, there is still a criminal investigation into Woods as well. In studio, Natalie Chuck, Denver 7.
Makes me wonder if she is affiliated because of Denver, of Colorado being, very connected to Idaho, to that house, the owner of that house, the past owner that gifted it to the university, Colorado. So, another quinky dink? I don't know. Just seems pretty darn, a little too close for comfort, don't you think? I do. So, okay, I'm going to get this one up. And I'm going to go on for the next one because it's getting wild out there. And I can't even get to the police reports. I want to read those police reports to you because let me tell you something. As soon as BK became jailed, all hell broke loose over there. It is crazy over there. And I don't know if he was maybe they feel like they can get away with anything since he's in jail. I don't know what it is. Because maybe he was something to be reckoned with. I don't know. But this is wild over there. It's wild. And things are just, there's missing people right and left. There's just anything and everything going on. When I'm reading through them, I plan on going through them and picking out ones that are just really crazy, but it's just, I can't because there's a pattern for that day and that evening, right? Typically there's something going on, and if there's somebody doing all that crazy stuff, then they're going to keep doing it if they don't get caught the first time or the second time when there's a phone call that comes in. When someone calls 911 and reports somebody, they're not going. If they don't get caught, they're going to continue doing what they're doing. And so that's my hardest part right there is I want to pick out all the ones that are just crazy and wild, but it's just so difficult for me to do that because everything matters, right? That pattern, that math problem, all the stuff in between. You got to look at all the stuff in between because that's important too. Just not only the beginning and the end. You got some guts in there, and if you don't want to have guts, you got some problems because things aren't going to work very well if you don't have guts, right? Okay. Love you guys. Ta-ta for now.